This is K9WLW with another cross-moding video. This will be video number 2. And this one is again with the DMR radio, only this time I'm going to show you how to cross-mode to the NXDN reflector network or NXDN network. Again, I'm going to recommend that you go to the pistar.uk. It's a great reference tool. And instead of looking for YSF FCS tools, look for NXDN tools. Click or tap on that, and you have NXDN reflector list. So I'm going to click or tap on that, and this will list all the NXDN reflectors in numerical order. And then to their right is their name. Now, you're not going to have the mile-long list that you had in the YSF and FCS world. This is a much smaller world than YSF is. In fact, there's the entire list right there, beginning top to bottom. And that's it. Oh, and by the way, go to the very bottom. There's a disconnect command, which we'll get into when we demonstrate the cross-mode ability. And that is a group call 9999, but we'll get to that. Okay, if you watched my YSF to, or DMR to YSF video, it was really a matter of just knowing how to configure the hotspot and doing a group call to the appropriate group. The 5-digit YSF reflector, or in the case of the FCS, it was 100 followed by usually a 3-digit. But it tells you on this pistar.uk tools what you want to key up. Well, the same concept applies here in the NXDN world. For example, the first NXDN talk group or reflector is 138, 138 Thailand. How do you key it up? On the DMR radio, you just key up talk group 138. Again, but anyway, it's that simple. So whatever the number is over here is the group call over here. One of my favorites is here in Florida. It's reflector 1200, 1200 Florida, group call, talk group 1200. Pretty simple. Anyway, I still have it configured for DMR to YSF, and I'm going to shut the DMR to YSF off, and I'm going to turn on the DMR to NXDN. So now I have the DMR mode on, and I'm turning on the DMR to NXDN cross mode. I'm going to hit apply changes. And again, this is where the patience of Pistar comes in. We have to wait for it to accept the changes. And this YSF configuration is going to disappear because we're no longer using that in this cross mode. It's going to bring up an NXDN configuration section. So there we go. All right, so DMR mode, DMR to NXDN for your cross mode. DMR configuration. Remember we were in the DMR master of DMR to YSF? Well, we can't use that now. So click on or tap on that. And again, go all the way to the top. And right below DMR to YSF, at the very top of the list, is the DMR to NXDN. So we load that up, and we hit apply changes, and we wait. And then I'll get into the NXDN configuration here in just a moment. I'm waiting for the changes to complete here. This is really the slow part. Once you get it up and running, you can just bounce around anywhere you want to go in the NXDN network. And okay. There we go. In the NXDN configuration, the only thing you need is there's two settings. There's the NXDN startup host where you can select a default reflector, if you will. Again, I use the radio to push me to where I want to go. The radio push to talk commands. So I always set my default to none, just like I did on the YSF configuration. I let the radio do the pushing. Don't need the dashboard for that. And the NXDN RAN is supposed to be set to 1. I don't know why. All I know is you want to make sure it's set to 1. Now the other thing is it helps you if you have an NXDN ID in order to talk on the network. It helps those on the NXDN world identify you by call sign on their radios somehow, or it'll show your NXDN ID if you have one. All you have to do is go to radioid.net, which is the same website that you've got your DMR ID from. And there's a section on that website where you can apply for an NXDN ID. And you just apply for it, fill in your call sign and whatnot. And usually within 24 hours or so, you'll have an NXDN ID. It'll send you like an email showing you the ID, and you're good to go. I believe you can talk on the network without the ID, but they're going to notice you don't have the ID when you key up, the people that are on the NXDN radios in particular. And it doesn't show it in the cross mode, but if you activate NXDN mode by itself, below your call sign, it asks you to type in your NXDN ID. It doesn't in the cross mode, but if I turn NXDN mode on, it'll show NXDN ID, and my ID is 729. It's just a 3-digit ID for me, which is kind of odd, but anyway, it works. Anyway, it's ready to go. I've got DMR to NXDN as my DMR master. Again, it's DMR mode on, DMR to NXDN switch on, no other modes active. Off to the admin page we go. And like in the previous video, it'll show the NXDN reflectors that you are linked, or if you're not linked, down here. Now, it's a little different than the NXDN or the YSF cross mode, or DMR to YSF. Remember when I keyed up a talk group, or to get into a YSF reflector, I had to constantly look here to see if it was successful. There wasn't any audible or radio squawking anything at me. It was just look in the lower left-hand corner and you're either in or you're not. Well, NXDN's a little different. So I'm going to go into that talk group 1200, which is the Florida group. And again, just like the other cross mode, you just do a group call. In this case, it's going to be 1200. 1200. Quick push to talk and release. But it's going to tell me something when I unkey. There it is. Unkey.
Linked to 1200.
Yes, the Pi-Star talks to you and tells you that you're linked. So you get an audible. I wish it would do that on Fusion. That would be really cool. But it doesn't in the Fusion cross mode. However, in the NXDN cross mode, it gives you a verbal, audible response, and of course you can see TG 1200. There it is. Now, the unlink command is not the 4000 like it is on the YSF cross mode. Remember earlier in the video I mentioned the NXDN reflector list way down at the bottom? It said or disconnect. It's group call 9999. So if I want to unlink from the reflector, I just do a group call of 9999. So talk group 9999, push to talk release.
Not linked.
Not linked. And you'll see that I'm not linked. So I like how it talks to you in this cross mode. That's pretty cool. So you get both the audible and the visual. So now that's how easy it was to get in one group and how to unlink out. There's a worldwide one. I think it's 65,000 is the talk group number. So I'll do a group call 65000. Push to talk, release.
Linked to 65000.
Okay, so I'm in 65,000, which I believe is worldwide talk group or in NXDN. It's pretty late at night. I don't know if anyone's going to be on, but why not give it a shout? All I have to do is keep keying up with that 65,000, and it should be. I'll be heard on the network. Let's see if anyone's out there. This is K9WLW calling in for a radio check. Is my radio getting into the network? There may not be anybody on. It's not a busy bunch. Maybe there's someone out there on planet Earth that's listening. Maybe not. Would like to get a confirmed contact. I believe there's a group 31010, which is Alabama link. No, it's a multi-mode. They've got a P25 patch in. They've got an NXDN. They've got DMR ways in. They've got Fusion ways in. They've got D-Star ways in. Let me see if I can sneak into Alabama link on NXDN.
Linked to 31010.
Okay. I'll try it. Again, it's late at night. I'd probably strike out, but why not try? This is K9WLW on NXDN network. Calling in for a radio check. Does anybody copy? Nobody home. Oh, sorry about that. I was really hoping that somebody would be out there and responding. But I can tell you it's working for sure because it shows I'm on talk group 31010. You heard me link in. You saw me link in. Trust me, it works. I've done this. I've talked to people. And it works well. It really works well. All right, I'm going to do the group call 9999 and unlink.
Not linked.
Okay, we're out. So now we've unlinked from all reflectors. We're on standby. Anyway, that's the DMR to NXDN. Again, once you've gotten comfortable with the DMR to YSF, DMR to NXDN is really easy. Really easy. And again, you get the list of all the NXDN reflectors on the pistar.uk website under NXDN tools. A number of them are multi-mode reflectors. Like there's, like I said, there's the Alabama link, which is 31010. That's a DMR talk group. That's a YSF reflector. P25 has a reflector link in, and there's even a D-Star link into that network as well. So some of these are multi-modes. Like there's one called Colorado HD. I know you can go there on DMR. You can go there on YSF network, I believe. You can go there on the P25 world, if I'm not mistaken, as well as, I'm sure they have a D-Star link in there as well. But sometimes you'll get more activity when you go in on these multi-mode reflectors on the NXDN network. But some of them are standalone, where they're just unique to their network. I know I've talked in Illinois link on NXDN, and that's another multi-mode access, but I've done it with the NXDN cross mode, and it works well. It really works well. So Again, you can experiment and see what you might be able to dig up out there in the NXDN world. It's not as big or as busy a world as YSF and FCS reflectors, but there's more stuff to be found there. It is available. All you need is a DMR radio, and I'd recommend just getting the NXDN ID. That way you show up on their network with your ID. It's not a requirement in NXDN like it is in DMR, but it's a courtesy. Well, let's call it that. You can talk on the network without an NXDN ID, but everyone's going to know you don't have an ID when you key up on that network. So I would just say it's a courtesy, and it's not hard to get it, so why not? Anyway, that is it for cross-moding from the DMR radio. Video 1 was DMR to YSF. This was the second available cross-mode, DMR to NXDN. Next video I'm going to demonstrate is taking your fusion radio, YSF that is, and cross-moding to DMR. It's a little trickier and a little bit more involved than these two cross modes that we just did with the DMR radio. But for those of you that don't have a DMR radio, that's actually going to break down into 3 videos. Part 1 of that is going to be YSF to DMR. Part 2 of that is going to be YSF to NXDN. And part 3 is going to be that last digital network that you can access, and you can only access if you have a fusion radio, and that's YSF to P25. So that's another small network like NXDN, but it's fun to see how to do this, and I really enjoy showing everyone some of these tricks. And this is applicable to all Pi-Star hotspots. There's nothing unique about my hotspot. It's not a super hotspot. Every Pi-Star can do this if it's configured correctly. Anyway, that's it for this video. Please comment below if you have any questions or comments. And if you wish to email me, I'm reachable at cq2meters@yahoo.com. That's CQ followed by the number 2 meters@yahoo.com. 73s from K9WLW.